Hello, we're going to have a little demonstration on how to create your plaster mask base. That's where we just put a base of plaster over the top and let it dry so that you can build your structure over the top of it. You're going to need a mask form. You're going to need plastic wrap, your Plastercraft strips. Now they are this wide. What I've done is take them out and cut them close to the length of the box, and then I cut them in half lengthwise. I cut 10 of them. That's how many you'll need, because you'll go 5 this way and about 4 or 5 this way. I always do 10 just to be on the safe side. And then you're going to need a cup of water. Make sure it's filled up to about 1.5 inches below the rim of the cup. Okay? I also got a paper towel, because the first thing you're going to do is dampen the paper towel. Okay, and you're just going to wipe it on your mask, because that's going to help your plastic wrap to stick. Please don't forget this plastic wrap step, because if you put plaster right directly on this mask, it's going to stick to the mask, and then we won't be able to get this plaster or this mask form out. So once you dampen this, you're going to take your plastic wrap. Okay, I'm going to just move this so you can see it. Okay, take your plastic wrap, and enough to be able to cover the mask. We're going to slide it across the cutter, and we're going to carefully lay it down on the mask. Okay, you want to press it from the nose out, okay, so that you don't get any air bubbles in there. This is especially important if you're going to create a smooth-faced mask. Okay, so once that's all pressed down, you can get rid of the plastic wrap. I've already cut my strips so I can get started. This isn't needed. Oh, and by the way, once you get done with your scissors, you'll want to wipe them off with your damp paper towel. You might as well have a double use for it, because if you let plaster sit on those scissors, they will rust. Okay, so just wipe it off. It doesn't have to be dripping wet, because we don't want moisture to cause it to be dripping wet. And then you can just throw this away when you go to throw away all of your stuff. Okay, so we're ready to go now. What we're going to do, I'm going to move this back. Oh, and by the way, you need to put something down on your table before you get started. I put this roll paper, and the roll paper is available right there. You can use newspaper, but I don't have very much newspaper left, and this roll paper was left over from making bulletin boards last year and was given to me, and so I'm going to go ahead and use it. It works great, because then you can just fold it all up when you're done, throw it in the trash, and you've covered your area and don't have to do a bunch of cleanup. Okay, so we're going to dip our plaster strip into the water, and I want you to run your fingers, kind of like scissors, down the paper strip and get a little bit of the excess water out. Now I just glided it. I didn't squeeze it really tight. I just glided it, okay? And then we're going to lay this on the top, press it from the center out, press it down, and run your fingers around and around to smooth all that plaster and activate the plaster. Get it down into those holes, because you can see it's got holes in the strips. So see, it's got little holes like that. You are smoothing it out when you're rotating your fingers around to smooth all that out. Now, if some of it gets a little dry, you can always dip your fingers in. And by the way, I'm wearing gloves because it's just easier for cleanup. You don't have to wash your hands, because here's the thing. If you wash plaster down the sink, it will plug the sink. So the more you can do without having to do any washing, it's so much easier. Okay, next strip. We're going to dip it. Okay, make sure you get that top part dipped. Run my fingers gently to get excess water off. And then we're going to overlap just slightly. Press it down from the center. Rotate the fingers around, and I'm holding it while I'm rotating my fingers because I don't want it to move at all. Now, I'm only allowing a little bit of the plaster on the outside, the flat part, because I don't know for sure if I'm going to make a frame around it. But you can, if you know for sure you're going to have like a sun mask or something like that, you can add more to the outside to create that base for the sun part. Okay, one thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is really, while you're holding this, run your fingers along the edge so that it really gets it close to the face. Okay, the smoother you can get this to start, the better you're going to have, the easier time you're going to have putting your the rest of your structure pieces on there. Okay. Again, overlap. Now the nose can be the trickiest part, so I like to press that nose down, hold it down, and smooth the rest of it out. Because if you try and just smack it down across there, you're not going to have any kind of nose. Now, if your mask doesn't have a nose, then it's not something that you need to worry about. But if it does have a nose, you definitely need to pay attention to how you smooth this base down. Same with the eye sockets. You don't want to have that smacked, stretched tight across the eye sockets, or you won't have an eye socket. It'll just be flat. Okay, smoothing around the edges. And here we go with another one. So that was 3 strips that I've done. I got 2 more to do on the first layer. We're going to do 2 layers total. Okay, I'm overlapping again. And as you get to the bottom part of the face, it's going to start curving this way because it's going to go around the chin. Okay, I'm tucking it up against the nose. Again, holding it down while I rotate, smoothing all that plaster in. Okay, I'm going to turn it around so you can kind of see what's happening down here. Just smoothing it in. The more time you take to do this, the better it's going to be for your final piece. And you can always go back and smooth it some more because it's not drying yet. Oops, see what I did? I kind of curled it up. So that's okay. Flatten it back out again. I kind of caught my finger in there. Okay, smooth that all out. All right, last one for the chin. Okay, I know that the water's off camera, but you have seen it enough that you should know what to do. Okay, now I'm just tucking it under the chin like this. Okay, I'm going to hold that on there, and then I'm going to wrap it up the side a little bit. Try and smooth that out. Even if you have to pick it up and replace it several times, that's okay. Okay, holding it, flattening it out, wrapping it up against the side of the face, and then smoothing that all in. Okay, and I have a little bit wrapping on the flat part. Let me pick this up here. Okay, you can see it overlaps the flat a little bit on both the top and the bottom. You will just that just gives it more stability on the edge. Okay, now we've done the horizontal, now we're gonna do a vertical. Okay, again, we're dipping this in. You may need a little bit longer strip for this one. I'm gonna start in the middle on this. Okay, right in the center where the nose is, pressing it down, try and laying this flat. You see what a wider strip would do? It would buckle. It would be really hard to get it nice and smooth. Okay, I'm just trying to press it out so it gets nice and smooth and uses that plaster. I got a little bit of a ripple in here, so I'm going to try and press that out around the nose. And this doesn't take very long to dry, maybe 20 minutes or so. So today you can get started on this right away and then kind of solidify. Once you've got it done, you can solidify your design. If you've already figured out, you know exactly what you're going to do, then you can start cutting the pieces that go with your design. And I'll talk about that in class. Okay. So that took a little bit longer to smooth down. And now I'm just going to do my outside edges. And I'm going to, again, overlap a little bit, smooth it down. And this is just going to give you a nice stable base. And I just keep holding it in place because I don't want it to slip and slide around while I'm smoothing it all out. Just take your time. Okay, another overlap. And then 2 more strips on the side. And that will, again, just give it a nice stable edge. And I'm wrapping that around. It's a little bit more overlapped than the horizontal ones. And if you use the side of your hand, that's going to help you keep it nice and stable. Just use that whole flat of your hand to smooth it all in. Okay, now this is getting kind of fat down here, so I'm going to lay this out. And we're going to trim that off. So unless you want it for part of your framing, you can do a frame on your face, like if it's, like I said, if it's a sun, or if you've got hair that you need to have coming down or something like that and you need to attach it. Okay, nice and smooth. Lay it out flat, and there you go. You have your base. You're going to store that. We may need to like stick it on a piece of cardboard or something like that for now, just so I can show you guys what to do for cleanup. I'm picking it up by the plastic and holding my hand underneath the mask. That's how you can transfer it to a piece of cardboard or something. But then what we're going to do is we're going to take the water and just set it aside for now. And the gloves, the easiest way to do this is take it from the wrist, pull it this way, and then with your fingers, pull it like that, keep it all inside, put it inside your paper, fold this all in, compact it down into a nice tight ball, and throw it away in the nearest trash can. Okay, so what I want you to do to store it, we're going to get some cardboard out for you. You can lay it on cardboard, and then you can put it in the student cubbies. We'll go ahead and put names up there because I think we've got enough names for everybody, or enough spaces for everybody, and then that's what you can do with it until tomorrow.